Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Table Throw Show, a weekly Dungeons and Dragons multimedia experience extravaganza, where me, DM person, guides a bunch of players through a homebrew Dungeons and Dragons campaign. We're on episode 22 at this point, and some pretty interesting things happened last session, which will be recognized today. Without further ado, I will stop talking, rambling, and get on to the recap. So in the previous session, our wonderful parties in the Table Throw Show, the party continued down this narrow stairwell alongside Solus and his quite strange son, Palon. Eventually, after a few minutes of silence and kind of everyone being quiet, not really knowing what's going on, Urgaf, Tia, Pav and Chim, as well as Athena, all kind of found themselves at this old rusted gate. And it led to what was essentially a circular room, really dark, deep underground. This was the Helios Vault, basically. As they looked around the room and opened the gate, they found that the walls and the floor mapped the heavens and stars, and all the tales that had been written about them, basically. And the floor was forever shifting to actually match the stars that were in the time at that part of the year. And basically what would happen at this point is after entering, Palon, the son of Solus, would pull a knife to his father. And the party would discover that there was something deeper going on. And in fact, Palon, the son, was being used as a vessel to hold the staff fragment the party was searching for. Desperate to stop Solus, the party attacked the old gnomish man. You basically managed to pretty much break him entirely, but he had enough life left to use his actual life force to summon a very strange creature wearing big armor and engulfed in purple flames. After quite a hard fight, I think we'll all agree, Pav being controlled by its dark forces, the creature's forces that is, Tia would strike it down with a final attack, a blaze knife, I believe.
Yes.
And control over Pav faded, and the creature fell. But it wasn't the only one who fell. Urgaf, the half-orc, had fallen in battle and had been decapitated. So that's kind of where we join the party at this moment. This music isn't very fitting. So you guys all find yourself in this dark, strange circular room. The walls are shifting, the floor is shifting. It's very disorientating. It's hard to find any kind of decent place to stand. The air is thick, it's uncomfortably warm for everybody, and you see there lying before you Urgaf.
Oh, who left?
Oh. It's in more pieces than I remember.
Pav is just snapping out of the control, right?
So yeah, you would have immediately seen as soon as the creature died, Pav had a kind of recognizable reflex, a flinch almost, and seemed in shock at the situation. As for you, Pav, you remember things, but it's all kind of... You remember kind of what you did, but at the same time there's parts of it which are missing. Almost as if it feels like you've just done them and there's no reason that you did them.
I'm gonna go sit over here in the corner. Be completely fine.
I want to go over to the corpse of the creature.
Okie dokie. So, as the creature fell, the kind of purplish flames that made up its physicality, this hard metallic armor, it all kind of turned into a light dust. It's a significant pile, but as you kind of approach it, you see that it almost appears to have shifted to ash.
Can I just kind of sift through it?
Certainly. Is there anything in particular you're looking for? Or are you just doing this as a...
Tia's doing this because after battles you go through the corpse and try to find loot, and Tia doesn't want to turn around and face that scene.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Alright. Give me just a second.
No problem.
That's a unnatural 20.
Awesome. So, as you kind of sift through this light dust, kind of pushing your hands through it, it's very light, almost like flour kind of texture. Very fine flour, so it's been sieved flour. That's what I'm going for. And as you kind of look through it, there's these little purple, almost glistening features, and they seem to be very small fragments of some kind of gem. You'd guess because it's purple, possibly amethyst. You're not 100% sure, but there's some kind of gem within this dust here. Again, very minute. You had to kind of sieve through it quite a little bit, and eventually you kind of are left with a few pieces in your hand, and you could probably find more if you spent the time.
We have someone here. I probably... Oh, he's here.
Jesus Christ, not the time.
Borgath is back. Yay!
No, I just
Yay!
want.
Right. Does it seem like it's gonna take me a lot of time to find, to actually get anything out of value out of this?
If you run about gold value, yes.
Yeah,
they're not
no,
very large.
'cause
They're very small.
Can I? Is there anything special about the dust, or is it just, dust?
The dust itself. Make a intelligence check.
I'm good at those. 14 total.
The dust itself it seems to have some inert magical properties to it, but it's not necessarily anything unique or special. You know that some creatures, like ghosts for instance, might leave behind some kind of ectoplasm. This seems to be a similar kind of thing. You reckon it's the thing that bound it to the physical realm,
Alright.
from its corporeal state, basically.
Yeah. Tia tries to kind of reason with themselves about going through this, trying to find something of value, but seeing how there isn't anything, they're probably gonna give up after a while and actually kind of get up, dust their hands off, and go to face everyone else.
Alright, I assume everyone else is still around the body of your fallen comrade?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you turn, you are faced with the party members of Athena, Chim, and Pav, all standing around Oragath. Claw is lying by his side, and Mordio is not within visual range.
What?
Pav has kind of lay on hands in her hands, but obviously can't really use it, so it's just kind of holding. Like lay on hands is active, and you can tell, but she can't use it. So.
Okay. You guys see this essence, this celestial glow coming from Pav's divine power. Kind of in the corner, hunched.
Pav, are you back on our side?
Think. Yeah, for now, yes.
For now?
Yes, I am.
Good. What are we going to do about this?
Do we have anywhere to take the body?
I don't think we should go dragging around a decapitated body in a city that we are not quite familiar with.
No, but we also can't leave him here.
No, I wasn't planning on doing that either. He deserves it a bit better than that.
Jim has a really tiny cape, and she takes it off and just covers the...
Ugh, this is gruesome. Where's his head?
So because of the nature of the decapitation, the head is pretty much just above the neck. He was already lying down. It wasn't like a swing. It was quite literally almost like a guillotine action with the
I just
Like,
know that I was holding the head
you were.
when it happened, and then I stood up, so it might have rolled.
It didn't
don't
really
know.
roll. The nose is
Alright.
good at stopping that.
I'm gonna go over and close his eyes if they aren't already closed.
You do so, yeah. Because of that state, his consciousness was fading in and out. So yeah, you do actually see that the eyes were not fully shut. And you dust your hand over and close the eyelids.
Can you say something, Pav? Something. You're the paladin.
Okay, so rights of Talbot. I'm not just kind of alters them slightly because obviously Uragab wasn't a follower. We didn't yet convert him, and so solemnly and shakily.
Chim's just praying silently.
We
Yeah.
bury him here or cremate him.
Do we?
I feel like
Did he ever mention any god he followed to us?
You don't recall him worshipping any god. He seemed quite new to the idea of religion in general, and hasn't met many clerics or paladins in his lifetime, or any acolytes. So,
So a warrior's funeral might be the most fitting, and I'm not saying that because I'm fond of fire, but also because I don't want us to have to dispose of a body.
you kind of see at this moment, this fierce animal that has been his companion Claw is almost now like a frightened child, if you could imagine it. Almost not showing the properties of an animal, acting like very human, and there's concern and misunderstanding on Claw's face, who's not really sure what to do. And as you're all kind of having this discussion, Claw looks around, seemingly having lost part of themselves.
Was the sun a worshipper of the sun?
You're not sure, but Palon seemed that the family had a previous business within actually having a church towards Helios, so you presume so, yes.
I
No,
think a
he's-
cremation might be the best.
Well, in here or drag the body up.
I don't think there's anything up is to complete a cremation. But I also don't want to down here. Mate,
Could we? We've got the stick.
Wasn't this already a crypt?
This area, it was previously what was some kind of crypt, yes, and it then got turned into a vault after the fires happened, basically.
Yeah.
People stored valuable offerings here to Helios, and this became basically a safe haven.
Well, if we do cremate him here, I suppose we could bring the ashes with us and do something honorable with those. Less conspicuous
Yes.
than a body.
Okay. Yeah, let's go here.
Okay. As you kind of come to this decision, I assume you guys would. Are you just going to cremate Urgaf, or are you going to do Palon as well? There is still the body of Solus.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would
and
say so.
also, I don't know how to phrase this in character, but something Uragath's inventory. I don't know how to say it without sounding horrible.
So you guys would, I'd presume, remove Oragath's equipment and such.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rather than just sift through it and go, okay. So yeah.
While they're
continue.
Can
sorry.
I go up to the house and find some sort of symbol to lay with Palon?
You could certainly, yeah. It would take you around 5 minutes to get back up towards the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm cool with
Shit,
that.
did he seal the door behind us?
He did close it, but he didn't lock it because
Okay,
most of the
good.
locks were from the inside.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okie dokie. So Chim, as you kind of are walking up the stairs, you guys get the preparations for the cremation ready. You lie Uragath, and I assume that you'd like to do Uragath Palon separately to Solus.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you.
Fuck Solus, he's the bad guy here. I'm not doing shit for him. It's all his fault.
So yeah, as you guys kind of make these preparations, you lie Uragath and Palon on the kind of cold shifting floor. You place Uragath's head where it should be, and take a second to make some preparations. Pav, you know some things about some kind of religious stuff that's done from worshippers of Talvor. It's very rare that they're cremated, but if they are, it's often done that in such a way which is basically just, and so you give basically one of the items that belonged to Uragath and place it in his grasp, basically. So let's say it's like an animal trinket of some sort, and place it within his grasp. And for Palon, we'll get to Chim. So Chim, could you make me an investigation check, please?
Yes. Hang on. I need to open the thing. Investigation. Was that heard?
No. Could you repeat, please?
21.
So are you just gonna look downstairs or upstairs too?
I'll go upstairs.
Okay. Taking the time to go upstairs, you find that there's a very kind of cramped, if you could call it a landing, with 3 doors going off left, right, and center. You see that the center one seems to be what looks like a bedroom, and the one to the left is a closed door. And you decide to investigate that. You open it, and inside this looks like where Palon would have rested. As you kind of enter the room, you immediately see that there's an amulet under what seems to be his bed. This far too small for his physical form, almost the bed for a child, and it takes you a second, and in general the room looks like it's a child's room, a child between the ages of 8 and 10 maybe. Looking under the bed, you find an amulet with a picture of, well, not a picture, but some kind of symbol of the sun on it, and it gives off a strange energy that is definitely divine, but is unique in nature. You found the amulet, and you proceed out the house. Within 10 minutes of Chim leaving, she returns, and you guys have set up the bodies for the cremation.
Have we... God, I don't want to say looted.
You've basically taken all of his equipment off of him.
Yeah.
And I'd presume you deal with that at a later date, basically.
Yeah.
You've got it aside.
Okay.
Everything he owns, you have.
Cool.
Okay. So as you return, Chim, I assume you're going to place the amulet within the grasp of Palon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lying side by side are Gaff holding what looks like some kind of owl feather belonging to possibly Mordio, and also seeing Palon lying there. You guys could start the cremation if you would wish.
Yeah.
Okay. So I assume, Tyr, you're going to be the one making the...
Yep. I do it.
Okay. It doesn't take you long, and the bodies begin to burn away. It takes quite a while. you guys are probably down there for at least half an hour, possibly longer. Are you gonna set Solus, just turn him to ash, or have you got any other plans?
Well, first we're gonna loot his body. 'Cause
Okay.
I
And
don't
we
give
can
a
call
shit.
this looting. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a piece of shit, so we're looting him.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So as you kind of go up to the body of the old man, you see that this gnome, where the eye sockets are, it's darkened heavily from the purple flames that had burned him from the inside out. Looking through his body, you see that there are the various burned scars, possibly from the fires he spoke of. When it comes to equipment, could you make me an investigation check, please? Whoever is looting.
Yes. I'm gonna assume that it's me.
That's fine, yeah.
I am a loot aficionado. Ooh, that's an 11 total. That's not very good.
So the first thing you find is the piece of the staff that he was holding.
Yeah.
Oh, you have that already anyway, actually.
I think I did, yeah.
Pick that
I
up.
think I grabbed it.
Because I just realized it says here. Right.
Yeah, it doesn't say in my inventory, but I do remember doing that, so I'll just put that down.
On his neck, you find an amulet similar to the one that Palon had in his room, Chim. You'd see that.
Yeah.
However, it's a bit different. It's almost rusted and red, and it also has this strange divine energy coming from it. Even you can sense this, Tia, but it's much stronger. It's definitely a lot closer to whatever divine creature it was from. Looking around in general, he doesn't seem to have many coins on him to say.
No.
Just a few silver pieces in his pocket, like 4 or so.
Right.
Finally, the equipment he was wearing didn't seem like it was made for combat. It seemed like it was leisurely. He didn't expect to be doing any of this. So yeah, you basically find 4 silver pieces and the staff piece, which you already have. So
Yes. Cool.
Whilst the bodies are burning, Chim is kind of sort of half praying. Yeah, let's call it praying. Kind of holding her holy symbol and apologizing.
As is with a lot of praying in religion, it helps you find a place, basically within your words. It helps you understand and seek forgiveness for what you have done. But for a second, it seems like there is presence in the fire, and some of the not sparks of the flames, that's the wrong word, but embers, sorry, seem to have almost sparks trailing off of them, as if the fire is being watched by Talvor themselves. And it brings you a little bit of peace. Okay, so after looting the body, you kind of give it a look for a minute. The urge to kick it is strong, but you're looking down at the body of Solus. What would you like to do, Tia and Chim?
Kick it.
Okay, you satisfy your urge to kick it.
I kick it, but instead of kicking like a normal person, I kick by bringing my foot down upon it because I have raptor claws. So, just fuck this dude.
You hear the rattling of bones being shook as you almost pseudo stomp this corpse. Pav is currently watching over the fire, unless Rosie would like to do anything else, and you two are both looking down at the previously pseudo stomped Solus.
Yeah, I'm going to toss some food and rope into the fire.
Okie dokie. As you do, you see, as you kind of throw the food and the rope in, it begins to burn alongside the bodies. The arcane fire is pretty, definitely a lot stronger than regular fire, basically. And you see the scorch marks, which killed the creature, the dust which lay beside it. And as you kind of finish throwing the food and the rope into the fire, you join up with Athena, who's being very quiet, even though I know she isn't here. Basically, you join up with the four of you. All wondering what to do about this dead gnome.
Tia, can I have a look at that amulet?
Yeah, sure. I hand over the amulet.
Okie dokie. The
Can
first.
I don't know if it's Arcana or Investigation on it, but I want to give it a good look-see.
Make a religion check.
Okay. That's better. 14.
Okie dokie. Immediately investigating this strange amulet, you notice that the actual, not the rope, but what would be the rope of the amulet itself is this chain. It seems to be a main pendant kind of thing, which was made out of some goldish metal, possibly gold, but some kind of metal which has that same appearance. However, it seems to have rusted, almost like iron, and there is a faint purplish hum. And as you kind of think for a minute, you recognize there is no specific emblem on this, but there's definitely some divine power within it. And it's almost similar to the feeling when you guys first came up through the basement of the Helios Church. Remember how the floor had this purplish kind of dark energy coming from below it? It's similar to that.
Can I check out the amulet?
Sure. As you kind of have it over to Chim and see her inspecting it, you could.
Kind of at the same time.
What are you looking at the amulet for?
I wanna feel if it has a magical presence that I recognize.
Make an Arcana check.
I'm good at those. That's a 13.
It's not necessarily one which you recognize. The more powerful a magic is, usually the more easy it is to tell, but with more divine magics, they don't really fit into a category of Arcanum. They don't fit into a type of magic very easily. So even upon inspecting it, you don't sense a defined magical signature from it that you can necessarily recognize. Alright, so yeah. You guys
I'm gonna ask Chim if she knows anything about it.
I say what you told me.
Alright.
I say cool. What wonderful information.
Yes. If you wouldn't mind, I think I'd like to hold on to this personally.
I think that's fine.
Okie dokie. Feel free to add that to your inventory. Name it under something which, if you told me, I'd remember.
I put it down as the old sun amulet, so...
Yeah, that's actually that's a good shout. I will remember to write that in the recap notes. Righty then. So you guys, the bodies have begun to turn into a finer ash, leaving behind... most of the flesh is gone from the two of them. They're basically unrecognizable, almost. The bone is still withering away in the flames, which takes a very long time if it does even work at all. So yeah, you guys are left with finally, the dead body of Solus, as the flames are beginning to quell a little bit.
I think we need to dispose of this body.
Don't take this the wrong way, but there's something I would like to do with this body. I would
like him to explain.
I want to drag him up into the sun. Because that's what I believe he deserves.
Which body?
Alright.
Or...
No, the Solus.
No.
Go ahead.
I'm not against that.
I'll let Tia, they know the sun. I think, yes, Tia, you can do it.
I'm not very strong.
I pick up the body.
Okie dokie.
Thank you.
So with that, I assume you guys would start heading out. Unless, actually, no, you wanted to collect the ashes of Uragath, if I'm correct, and possibly Palon.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okie dokie.
Box.
So
Do we have a nice box?
I have a pouch
We
and a
can-
water skin.
If we have something,
Yeah, I was
we
gonna
can
say,
get a
can we
nice
put
box
Urgeth
later.
inside his own water skin? Which
you
I
could
assume.
certainly do that. Yeah, there was a bit of water left in it, so you'd have to pour that out. But you could.
Oh no, it's gonna turn into mud. Ugh.
We could just put it over the flame so it all evaporates out
Yeah,
without
that's
burning
true.
the
That's true.
water skin.
I'll say that you prepared this basically
Yeah.
while the fire was finishing. So using your mastery of flames here, you quell the flames, and after basically boiling the water out to leave a dry water skin, you collect the ashes upon the left side, which were Orgath's. You see that the feather has actually burnt away. And what would you like to do with the ashes of Palon?
Between some of us, we must have just a bog standard container.
You,
and we
you
can,
do have
I've
containers,
got a
yes.
pouch. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put them in the pouch.
we just take
Yeah.
them and we can get nice later.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you go to approach the ashes of Palon, you see that the amulet that was with him has completely vanished. There is no sign of the metal that was there. And it seems that even though it was clearly some kind of metal amulet, it's gone. There's no trace of any metal. There's just ashes. So yeah, it's easy enough to collect them up, Pav. And you place them up in your pouch.
So,
We can take the body into the sun, and then I think we need to rest.
yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be light outside when we get up, but we'll see.
Okie dokie. So as you guys walk out of the spiraling room, a wave of exhaustion hits you all. Chim, you notice this. You ran outside, and it was about the same time as previously, and then you ran back down. And because of the kind of heat of the moment, the strange feeling that waved over you, you didn't really feel it that much, mainly because I forgot to mention it, but you didn't really feel it that much. As you guys exit, there's this strange sensation. You carry on moving up to the surface. About 5 minutes up these strange stairs, you appear in that temple where the passageway was hidden, and you notice that it is pretty much the middle of the night.
Is the feeling the one we mentioned about coming out into the...
It's very strange, the feeling. It's not... It's... In fact, if any of you are proficient in Arcana, you can make a roll on it.
No.
13 total.
Again? Sheesh.
Yep.
So yeah, as you walk out, you definitely know this is some kind of possible... It's got some roots in arcane magic, whatever it was. But it seems complex, and you can't determine the nature. It seems like it's more than one nature of magic. It's not elemental specifically. It's not... It's strange, basically.
Alright.
Whom should it be? Thinking logically.
So wait, were we in the temple that we came through the first time we came to the city? Or am
Yes. You are. You come out through the same
Alright.
doorway. Pav, make an intelligence check to see if it is what you think it should
Same
be,
time.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Do. Oh, that was pretty good. 12, 11.
Oh,
Oh
negative.
dear.
You think to yourself for a second, and you start to think, well, it was getting dark, but there's no reason for it to be basically midnight. It is basically as dark as it will get, and you can't quite figure out why. It's far too late for what time it should have been.
Okay. This out to people. And...
This
Go
seems
to the house.
wrong. Can we go outside?
Yes, you can. As you
Can
walk
I see
outside.
I did the thing when I was in this temple the first time. I just put a little bit of magic into it, and it reacted.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try doing that again?
You could try, yeah.
What would I have to do for that?
You've done it once before, so I'd say make an Arcana check, and it's going to have a lowered
Alright.
DC.
Okay, cool. Oh, come on, it's a 9 total.
You try to connect with the same kind of magical essence you did with before, and this time there is no response, no seeming connection.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait. Okay. This is the temple that I went to. This is the place I went to when I disappeared for an hour.
Mm-hmm. This is the same
That
place.
means that there's gonna be blood smeared everywhere because I did a blood ritual.
Not necessarily blood smeared everywhere.
Okay, but a little bit.
It's basically you signed a seal in your blood, so...
Yeah.
As
Well,
you...
I think there's gonna be some stuff left at the altar.
Oh, yeah. So as you go over to that, you see that there is there is a pact that you signed, which seems to be dried, long dried.
This seems wrong. Something's wrong.
I want to go outside and then go into the house.
Okie dokie. You go outside and you enter into the doorway, and you see that it is the same as it was when you left it, except it's a bit more dusty. Maybe
Is there
there's seems to be. It doesn't seem like it's been kept very well. Like a lot worse than it already was. There seems to be sand that has blown in from winds.
Okay, I have an idea of what I think has happened, but I'm gonna try to find out in character. Can I look at the night sky and see if the sort of constellations are the same?
Make an
because
intelligence check.
Yeah, because if it is any other time of the year,
They will
and time
change.
has passed, they would have changed. That's cool, awesome. I rolled a 3 again, so a total of 6.
Astronomy
So my
was never
character
your
doesn't-
strong suit.
Intelligence is my second highest modifier. Stars are boring. Tia doesn't know they're made of fire.
Tim's looking for a clock somewhere.
Did Chim come back into the same room we were in?
She went upstairs, so when she searched for the amulet, she basically found Palon's room. And again, it was like the room of a child almost. So yeah, would all of you like to go to the house as you kind of walk outside? By the way.
Yeah, I think we stay in a group.
Yeah, I don't want to get split up through time.
Ugh.
That's fine. Athena is following. You do see that there are some guards walking around. They have torches, and as they kind of walk, they look at you exiting the temple and seem to pay no mind.
Fuck, we have the corpse.
Oh, you do have the corpse, right?
Shit.
We don't have the corpse.
Sorry.
Give me a second.
You did.
I'm
I
gonna
have to
roll
be
this.
honest with the DM, otherwise I feel bad.
Let's give this a roll.
Okay.
Okay.
Athena, can Athena hide the corpse in her flowing skirts?
So, I set a DC of 10 for that, and they rolled a 9. So,
Oh god, I can't go back to jail.
they don't seem to see the body, amazingly.
Straight into the
Just
house.
devastating.
Straight to the house.
Okie dokie.
Yeah,
Um,
during doing this kind of slightly hurried
To
walk,
the
you know,
house.
you're still walking, you're just walking faster.
yeah. You couldn't make sense of the constellation, so everyone goes
No.
into the house. I wouldn't necessarily it's dusty as in like skin dust. It's more like sand that's blown in through like the windows are boarded. They're not necessarily fully sealed.
Right.
You
Oh,
said when I went upstairs, you said there were 3 doors.
Yes.
There was the closed one and a bedroom.
There was one to your left, which was Palon's room. You entered. One ahead of you, which seemed like a larger room, a master bedroom, if you would, and there was one to your right, which was
Right. And it was
Oh.
coming up from the basement. It seems to have changed. We felt the thing when we came up from the basement.
So when you guys, as soon as you guys exited the room with like the spinning floor and the shifting walls, things like there was almost like a kind of moment.
Yeah, because of course, yeah. This is, again, only talking as a player. So that room had something fucky to do with time because it moved like a clock, right?
Mm.
Like that's what I feel.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
just
gonna
trying.
pop
Yeah.
out again and ask the guards the date.
Okay, this is gonna be fun. So you find the guard, and the two guards. One of them seems to be quite tall. The other ones are relatively short. As you approach, they seem. I assume you still haven't. You're not carrying the body still. I assume you put that in the house.
Yeah, I'm not bringing my
Even Pav's smart enough to know.
Yeah, I assume so.
to see if I am.
Oh no!
Jim would not allow that.
No, we would not let you go back out with the thing.
They wouldn't. So yeah, if you would like to try and find the guards, you could. They would have walked a bit further up the street, but you could still see the torchlight and try and find them.
Mhm.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to put on a little bit of pace, and as they hear footsteps, they turn around and greet you.
Hi. I realised I've got somewhere to be, and I was wondering if you had the date because I don't know if it's after.
You would like to the date, yes? I would guess the date is around just let me think. He kind of takes a moment. Just before the solstice, I imagine. It is winter, I think.
Why does this guard not know?
I don't know the
Months
difference between autumn and
Happen
winter
here?
of a person in the house. I would say it is winter, I assume. It's winter or autumn, one of the two. We don't have trees to tell us that it doesn't really snow here.
Wow. You have an entire garden, and I guess that doesn't count. This is Tia's spirit talking.
Okay. How many cycles of the moon has it been since?
Since when? That is a great question.
You have birthdays?
How did you know?
Because everyone was born. Well, most people were born. Some people were hatched, but most people were born.
Some people are summoned. This is tiefling erasure.
I do have birthdays, yes. I'm a little bit confused. Can I help you with something? Is there something wrong?
I'm just trying to find out a date.
Why did we let Pav go alone?
If you would like the date, then it is the 734th year of the Third Age.
Okay.
Does that seem right
Seven-
to us?
It does seem right to Pav, and then you realise that that's probably... You thought it was 733, but you're probably wrong.
Ugh. Cool.
Thank you. I was more talking about the date as in the fruit. Is the fruit market open at this time of night?
Oh, I'm afraid
I
not.
love-
There's been a curfew. Well, I say
shit.
curfew, not necessarily forced, but recommended.
Can you say that again? Sorry, you cut out.
Oh, he's basically talking that there has been a curfew. It's not been forced and it's not been forced. It's not been said you have to. It's more like you should.
That's fine. Good night. Have a nice night.
You as well,
Good
my
luck on your
strange
patrols.
friend. Thank you. He begins to walk off, and his friend, who is waiting further up the road, begins to walk back with him. I assume you go back to the house?
I tell, probably Chim is most likely to know the date, and I tell Chim that it's the winter, midwinter of, and something 4.
Something for?
734?
Yeah. So that's
That
not
sounds about
only
right.
Does that
that's
sound right?
no, it's 2 seasons
Oh,
away and
boy.
a year ahead. Of
Yeah,
leaving.
because it was spring. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you were spring? Then it's it's 2 seasons away.
Okay.
Summer.
Yeah, it
autumn.
was some. Either way, that it's wrong, and I think. Do I need to roll anything to realize that? I don't think I
No,
would
it's
have
wrong.
to. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And also, there's a curfew and the fruit market's closed.
I'm sorry.
Thank
What?
you, Pav.
So what? We lost like a year.
Yes,
think so.
or I've lost hearing.
What does that mean for? No, this. What does this mean for your
We've
evil
missed
man?
ladies.
What does that mean for the dude who was sort of?
Threatening to kill you if you didn't bring him a staff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not certain. Gonna say.
More importantly, what happened to the really strong lady who was going to give us a lift back home with the raft?
Ooh.
I really liked her, and I don't want to disappoint her.
I really liked her.
You sure did. Well, securing passage back up north shouldn't be the hardest. We're all capable workers, and though I guess I don't want to go on a water raft, I would prefer to go on an air raft, but
travel is not the issue right now. The issue is a year has passed.
yeah, I do realize that is an issue, but also the fact that Bokar probably thinks I'm dead, and that's good for me.
Athena kind of perks up and says, "Me too. It's good for me.
Good for both. Yeah, exactly. Good for both of us.
That guy's an asshole.
But
Absolutely.
I'd hate
And
to
we
worry
also
anyone,
have-
but where is the Dragonborn?
Oh.
What?
What?
We had a Dragonborn friend.
Oh.
Well, I thought she was with you.
Athena looks flustered and embarrassed and feels bad.
Gotcha. Bet you weren't expecting that, huh, DM?
Nope.
Actually, yeah, when did we last see her?
Before you guys entered the temple, she seemed to tell Oragath something and then go away for a
yeah.
while.
Well, I'm just messing with you, Athena. She'd left on her own accord. I don't know where to.
Okay, so
Unfortunately, she told the one of us who is, well, dead. So,
yeah.
and now it's been a year.
Yeah. Athena's just kind of nodding.
Here's a worrying thought. You say it's good that Bokar may think you're dead. Bokar was talking about rising in power, politically and socially.
Ooh,
It's been a year. If we're just wandering around, he's gonna find out eventually. This isn't a we're dead and off the radar. This is a we're kind of. But he could very easily be aware if he succeeded.
Ah.
That is
I
true.
don't think that's something we can just ask a guard.
We have
We-
Midwinter Festival now. And I really like when Talvor comes down the chimney and gives us presents in our shoes. So
Yes.
I'm sad to have missed out on that.
We can celebrate that at some point.
Good. Because I had really good present ideas and I don't want to miss out.
That's cool and all. I think for now, we're safe, and we should probably take a rest. Because today's been
Yep.
incredibly shitty, and I'm very
Yeah.
tired.
Well, this past year.
This past day is literally the longest day of my life.
True.
And also the worst. Well, one of the worst.
Athena props up and goes, "Worst day of your life so far."
No, I've had worse.
Okay.
Well, I think
Aw.
it might be a bit morbid, but we've got an empty house now for free.
We should.
Let's rest.
Okie dokie. So
Just
as
the
you,
master
And we'll
bedroom.
stick.
Oh, I'm
And then we'll stick the old man in
definitely
the sun in the
searching
morning.
this. We're sleeping here. I'm searching this house and I'm torching it.
Maybe not
Okey-dokey.
torch the house.
Why not?
When we
Sell it. Real
leave,
estate
when we
sale.
leave the whole city, perhaps torch the house. But for now, we've got a hideout that we have no issue of getting into. And have
Fine.
hidey places.
Fine. But when
I
when
certainly agree on the searching.
absolutely. But
Wanna
maybe
turn it upside down.
maybe asleep,
Yes,
And a
after
snack.
sleep.
but not in that order necessarily.
Rest.
Do we still have any mangoes?
unless you took the mangoes with you, they would be long gone off.
My mangoes!
Wasn't Pav carrying the mangoes?
I
Have
was
had a
carrying
bunch of
some
them in her
mangoes.
mouth at
Hang on,
some
let's
point.
have a look.
Wait, no, I bought 2 pineapples. Cause
Yeah,
they were
I
weird,
brought a selection
And
of mangoes.
and I did not eat
Written
them.
down.
So
Not
I
how
probably
many.
had them
Are
with
they
me.
on your person?
No.
Okay.
Mangoes.
Then they were left to suffer for a year.
Aw.
Yeah, they're.
Is there a tree?
That's
Oh,
not. That would be amazing. No, there is not a pineapple tree.
Alright. I guess it would take more than 1 year. Anyway. Also, pineapples don't grow on trees. I know that. But
It's a
that's
shame
why
they don't. They do in
funny.
Fantasy Worlds, though. Now they do.
Right? These are not your regular.
These are
Normal
tree
pineapples.
pineapples. Anyway, so you guys will search the house, and we will deal with that at the beginning of next session. For now, this long rest will signal everyone leveling up.
Yay.
Yay.
Other than that, this is where we will be ending the session. So, thank you very much for watching. I have been the DM. These have been my wonderful players.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm not going to say the line. Jacob, that's Jacob's job now.
Yeah.
Jacob alive?
Uh,
I don't.
Jacob's
It's been
not
a
here.
little bit dull, but we did lose a whole year and one of our party members.
I know. There's
Oh,
two
wait,
ways
did we lose the
that could've
mangoes?
Mangoes are still
Lost-
here.
Good.
Mangoes is still there?
At least we have one hope.
gone. The mangoes.
We will reconquer the mangoes. By God.
Alright, thank you very much for
Alright.
watching.
And don't forget to throw those tables.
Hey. Goodbye.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye.